My name is Ross Vaughn. I'm a freelance director of photography and camera operator, and I also own my own video production company, AV Club Media. As a kid, I was always drawn to video. I remember one Christmas, my dad actually purchased a video camera for me, and I just remember every day after school, my friends and I would go out and we would film just stupid skits we wrote, and it was just like the highlight of my childhood. As I grew up, my priorities kind of shifted. In middle and high school, I began playing sports and just didn't have time to work in video as much as I wish I had. That kind of transitioned me for my college experience when I went to Clemson University and became an equipment manager for the football team. I was there from 2010 to the end of 2014. After graduating from Clemson, I moved up to Raleigh, North Carolina, and started working at a digital marketing firm called TriMark Digital as a client services associate. After I graduated, I remember just seeing all the content that guys like Max Huggins and Austin Kuhn were putting out and just saying like, man, I wish that this had been happening when I was at Clemson. And it kind of reinvigorated my passions. During that first year in Raleigh, the firm I was working at had one videographer on staff. So I started lending a hand anytime I could. And also the DJI Phantom 3 Pro came out. So I actually purchased that, and that was the first camera I had owned since that old Hi8 cassette tape recorder. I didn't know what ISO was, shutter speed, aperture, any of that. So to take the plunge into the whole video world, in September of 2015, my buddy and I decided to book a trip to Iceland. We rented a camper van for, I think it was like 10 days, and we just traveled around the entire island, just shooting the entire time. I remember bringing it back, putting it together. Once I had finished the piece, I showed it to my friend who was the videographer at TriMark, and just expecting him to be blown away. And I remember him telling me like, you know, the images are beautiful, but video is more than just pretty pictures. And while it wasn't the validation I was looking for at the time, I think that really stuck with me. And since that point, I really focused my craft on learning to tell stories in a beautiful way. At the agency that I worked at, I was very fortunate enough to be able to make the move from client services over to the video team, and it was the best landing spot for any entry-level videographer that you could ask for. During my time there, we got to produce 2 television commercials for Papa John's. We shot various resort pieces for Pinehurst Resort. We did a number of video projects for Golf Pride, and we shot a lot of digital content for Kohler. As much as I love shooting marketing pieces, I really wanted to start shooting pieces that kind of made an impact. So in February 2019, I decided to leave my job and start my own production company. Around that same time of me leaving my job, I got connected with Max Huggins of Fresh Tape Media. They were needing some help with the NBA Kicks set they had for the NBA All-Star Game in Charlotte that year. After that, Fresh Tape also hooked me up with a few shoots with MLB throughout the rest of 2019. And in 2020, they brought me out to Miami to be an editor for the Twitter set of the Super Bowl. Throughout that entire time, I also connected with some other really cool people, like Richard and Max Brook of Two Ways Media in Charlotte. They were needing some help on a show they were producing for the ACC network, following UNC basketball throughout the entire season. So for that show, I was primarily a camera operator. Working on that show also spawned some other projects for me. I've gotten to film with North Carolina FC, which is a USL team here in Raleigh, the North Carolina Courage, who are back-to-back NWSL champions. And I've also gotten to film for a handful of other clients like National Geographic, Aon, Lincoln Financial, and a few others. Video's taken me to so many places I never thought I'd be able to go. In South Africa, we filmed for a camper van company down there and traded out the entire trip. I've gone to Costa Rica, filmed birding lodges, gone to Bahamas, and filmed disaster relief efforts. It's really just an industry that allows you to pursue any route you want to go. If I could give advice to anybody wanting to get into the video industry, I would say do it the right way. There's so much room for shortcuts these days that I think the talent of cinematography often gets lost. We have cameras now that shoot 100,000 ISO with hardly any noise, and people will say it's a well-lit shot. So I think it's worth taking a step back and kind of studying those old techniques and studying lighting plots and studying, how a camera operates. I think if you do all of those things, you'll end up getting the results that you want. I hope you've enjoyed hearing me ramble, and if you have any questions at all about the industry, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me at info@rossvaughn.com.